Hi soul family, welcome to my channel Elle's Temple. My name is Elle. I am a goddess guide and tarot reader, and today I'm so excited to be bringing a reading all about your next rebirth into your greatest potential. And this was a reading inspired by these beautiful little snowdrop flowers that I picked up in the hedgerows today on a walk. I'm currently staying in Devon in the UK just before I fly back to New Zealand on Wednesday. So there might be a slight break in some readings while I travel out there, but because it takes a really long time to get from the UK out to New Zealand. But I've got a couple of readings lined up for you guys, and I wanted to film this one before I left. So yes, very excited to be bringing you this reading today. I felt like with the snowbells here, these are all about, well, the meaning of a sorry, I just called them snowbell. I just mashed up snowdrop and bluebell together. Snowdrop. The meaning of a snowdrop is related to seeing the first signs of spring, the new beginning, the new dawn, rebirth, hope, all that lovely stuff. So we're going to kind of look at themes around those kind of things for your reading today, and hopefully give you some self-empowerment and some self-encouragement to help you step into your greatest potential for this year, or for the next sort of phase in your life. So without further ado, to introduce each of the piles, if you are drawn to the lovely Germaine Greer, you will be pile number 1. I don't have crystals to pick with today, and I'm not going to read out the messages just yet. So just try and go with your intuition for which pile is drawing you in. Pile number 2, if you are drawn to Sanita Alizadeh, hopefully I haven't completely mispronounced that. Apologies if I have. So Sanita, if you are drawn to Sanita, you will be pile number 2. And pile number 3, Ellen DeGeneres. Okay, so just kind of go with your gut feeling. If you had a sort of like, yep, that one, just trust that. Don't worry too much about, what you may know about the history of these women or anything like that. It's not necessarily saying like your personality is like this person or anything. It's nothing to do with that. We're just looking at archetypes here today. So see which one draws you in, and I will see you in your pile. Okay, hi there, pile number 1. If you chose the fabulous Germaine Greer, this will be your pile. Now, for those of you who are new to these feminist icons, I am going to read a little bit about their story from the guidebook, and then we'll delve into some oracle cards and some tarot cards for you. Alrighty, so Germaine Greer, Australia. She was born in Australia in 1939. Since the publication of her first book, The Female Eunuch, in 1970, Germaine Greer has been a name that no one forgets easily. The controversial, saucy feminist has never been afraid to address taboos and uncomfortable aspects of women's sexuality, often landing her in hot water. She has also never believed that women can be men's equals, nor has she ever wanted to be. She's even said she doesn't really like women. Divisive and candid, Greer has long championed the idea of women determining their own path and seeking sexual liberation. She was the co-founder of a porn magazine in 1969 and has written over 20 books on subjects including rape, gender, and femininity. She is one of the world's most significant figures of second wave feminism. So, real icon. I'm sure you've heard about her and some of the controversies surrounding some of her publications and ideas and so forth, but don't worry too much about kind of things you've heard and all that kind of stuff now. We're going to move into some other messages in just a moment, but what I want to say is, if you were drawn to Germaine Greer, then what I feel like for you is that you might be someone who your greatest potential is to speak up about taboos. Now, that doesn't have to be completely exactly the same kinds of things that Germaine Greer spoke about, though it may well be. It may be things related to women's liberation, women's sexuality, those kind of topics, anything that's taboo around women's lives, things like that, feminist topics, motherhood, aspects of partnership and the dynamic between men and women. That type of thing might be something that might be something that you have many ideas about and very strong opinions about. You know, you don't necessarily have to be quite as outspoken or as controversial or anything as Germaine Greer, but certainly you might have some strong ideas about this, and it might be something that you've kind of perhaps up until this point maybe either suppressed or thought that they were too wild, or no, I can't really talk about this topic in the open domain because, you know, it's really taboo, and like my family might not appreciate it if I talk about this stuff, or like my partner might not appreciate it, or, you know, my workplace might not appreciate it. You know, maybe you're in a type of role where, you know, maybe you're around members of the public or you have clients, and it might not be, you know, perhaps something that if if someone saw, say you had done a YouTube channel and you were speaking openly about some of these taboo ideas or topics, and you felt like, oh, if someone at my workplace saw that, you know, and it would, you know, some of those ideas might have been a bit controversial or against perhaps some of the policies or something of the workplace or whatever, then I could get in big trouble. And so maybe there's been an element of, up until this point, kind of keeping those ideas under lock, or kind of just keeping them to yourself, being really private. Maybe you journal about it, or you speak to really close friends about it, but you haven't been outspoken, or maybe you have a little bit, like to an extent. You might have been outspoken within your friendship group, or a little bit on social media, but like you've not taken it kind of that step further and, like, say, you know, publish something, for example, or, you know, really found a platform where you could be some sort of vocal activist or something like that, for these strong ideas, or for these taboo topics, or you know, ideas around feminine sexuality or reproductive freedom, or whatever it is that you're really passionate about and you feel really strongly about. And you know, like I said, it could be something else. You know, it doesn't even have to be feminine sexuality. It could be, you know, you identify in some other way, and you have strong positions and ideas around, you know, your sexual identity, and it's not related to women or whatever. You know, it could be anything that is just something that maybe you've experienced, something that you've even just noticed, something you've noticed in society or you've observed. I very much feel like you're someone who doesn't want to conform, or you don't conform, and maybe you've had to a little bit, to a certain extent, to get by in life, but really your greatest potential is to break away from that completely and very much carve out your own path in terms of standing strong in that non-conformity, and not worrying about who's going to criticize you. I feel like here, because they've got criticism as merely a sign of success, and consuming springs from the need to conform, and that, so there's something around that your spirit team, or the universe, or your higher self, or however you want to identify with it, that other power, that intuitive guide, that part of you wants to draw your attention to the fact that your greatest potential is not to go with the crowd, and not to go with the herd, not to worry about being criticized. You know, you've got to break the mold. You've got to really trust in those parts of yourself that are non-conforming, because there's a part of you that's a bit of a trailblazer. You know, Germaine Greer was, you know, I think the book said she was very much the forefront of the second wave of feminism. You know, so some of your ideas, if you put them out there, whether you get them published in some form, put them on social media, you know, maybe you write an essay article on Medium. I think it's called Medium, which is a blogging platform. You know, something like that. Or maybe you've been writing ideas down for a while, and it's time to collate them all and put them in a book and get it out there, you know. Or start a podcast. You know, there's apps you can look up. You know, I think they're free, some of them, and you can literally create your own podcast from like your home, from, you know, very basic equipment, just recording. You know, you could start, you know, each week or each month or something, however much time you can fit in, you could record a topic about something that, you know, you're really passionate about, or really you've got some ideas around how to change things in that area. You don't want to conform in terms of something to do with, I mean, it'll be different topics for all of you because it's a general reading. But yeah, like I said, whether it's sexuality, whether it's spirituality, whether it's, rights of parents, or being a mother or something around that, and radicalizing, women's rights in the workplace, whether it's, like I said, to do with partnership, your higher self really, really wants you to start putting those ideas out there. Don't worry about who's gonna see it, or who's gonna watch it, who's gonna say criticize you. You've just got to get your voice out there. You've got to get your work out there in some way. This is your greatest potential, and this is very much something that is part of your mission to do. You're here to kind of be a trailblazer and to shake things up and to make changes. And even if it's a bit controversial, or even if it sounds a bit this person is just such a black sheep, they're just going against everything we're kind of conditioned and trained to be, don't worry, that's good. That is really good. That's what society needs. We need to kind of question those things. We need to question where we've been asked to conform and suppress ourselves, especially as women. But it doesn't have to be. It can be any gender identity, or any person who's felt some form of perhaps discrimination or something like that. So really powerful message there. Wow, I didn't expect to get so much coming through just from that one card. But let's go into some of the other oracles and get some more messages. So this is the Wild Woman Oracle, which I felt would be a good pairing. Whoa, that's a lot. Okay, I think I'll take both. Let's see, what have we got? January's rebirth. Amazing. So you're definitely, this is a really strong message. You're definitely going through a rebirth. It's pretty cool. We've got a rebirth card during a rebirth reading, because this is all about your rebirth into your potential. So you can see in this card as well, she's got a book here and she's writing, and she's got 2 books behind her. So I feel like maybe during this time, wherever you are in the world and whatever season it is, don't worry if it's not kind of beautiful and snowy out there. You can just take some time out to retreat and go within and write your goals. Maybe start writing some of these ideas down. Start, reading books of women who might, sorry, I just automatically said woman there, of people, anyone who's inspired you. It might be woman, but just anyone who's inspired you. And know that you can be like them. If they had an idea and they got it published, they're not better than anyone else. They're just a human, you guys want me to say they're just a human who poops. That's hilarious. Wow, that's an interesting thing to bring through. But you know what I mean, what they mean. Everyone is the same. I mean, sure, some people have different opportunities, but we're all just humans who poop, and everyone, everyone sort of has oh, that is so funny. I can't believe they said that. I guess everyone has weaknesses, or everyone has a human side. And so don't sort of put these people, these writers, or these trailblazers or whatever on a pedestal. Know that you can be like them, you can, this book that you're writing, or this piece of work that you want to put out in the world, whether it's a book, whether it's a podcast, whatever it might be, you can get that out there as well, as much as these people who already have ideas that are published, or, are out there in some way. So yeah, for some of you, I feel like it might be writing. Some of you, it's more speaking. I believe Germaine Greer did quite a lot of speaking engagements back in, around the time when she was sort of, pushing the sort of the new wave of feminism ahead. So maybe some of you are going to be more vocal, or more doing some sort of speaking work, or you might start a channel like on YouTube, or like I said, a podcast. So rebirth is going to be coming through for you. And we've also got a new beginning, Ostara. So now this could be significant in terms of timing for you. It might be that this rebirth into this new phase, this greatest potential phase of your life, is going to start around Ostara, which I'm going to forget the date now. I think it's the 20th of March, I believe, is Ostara. I can't remember the exact date. Hold on one sec. It might be in the book, but not to worry too much about the date. The point is that spring, so whenever spring is next for you, so whenever you watch this reading, if you're watching it at the time of upload, Ostara is the next festival in the Wheel of the Year. So coming up in March. So yeah, it's on the spring equinox, which I've just completely forgotten the exact date, but I think it's something like the 20th of March. So, and her guidance is, who or what do I need to let go of at this time in order to make way for a new beginning in my life? So I very much think that there's going to be a period of growth, renewal, a new beginning in this sphere of doing something that is not conforming in some way. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean like quit your job and 100% go full time and just do something really crazy and wild. It might be for some of you, but it might just be that over this time you just start devoting more of your energy, more of your attention to doing this kind of work that you're really passionate about, that you've got some perhaps taboo ideas about or some non-conforming ideas about, and just having the courage just to do those, to honor that voice of yours and to honor those ideas and put them out there and not worry about how they're going to be received and not worry about any criticism you might get. It's important for your soul's journey just to put them out, the ideas out there. You've just got to get them out there in some way. It's a really strong message that's coming through. Let's have a look. I'm going to pick a card from, this is the it's called Believe in Your Magic Oracle deck. It's a little bit big for my tiny hands, so it's a bit clumsy to shuffle, but let's try and get, we have a card for pile 1. Okay, let's try that again. Whoa, there we go. Ah, yes. Oh, I love this card. Confidence. It comes with time and practice. So yeah, whatever this thing is that you are wanting to put out there, pile 1, I do feel like some of you are a little bit tentative at the moment with it. You're a little bit like you're about to go on a journey, and maybe it's the first time you're doing something like this, the first time putting your voice out there. Maybe some of you are quite young. I'm being drawn to the number 23. Some of you could be 23. That number could be significant in some way. You were born on the 23rd of a month or something. But anyway, the point is that she's a little bit timid at this point, but just trust that the more you do it, the more you put yourself out there, the more you put your voice out there in whatever way, shape or form, the more you'll grow in confidence, the more you'll go from this energy to this energy. You can see how different they are. This is someone who's very timid and shy and kind of their energy is kind of really closed in, and this person's really like comfortable in their own skin. She's really like quite sassy. You can kind of tell just from sort of how she's dressed and how she's sitting. She seems pretty confident, a little bit kooky, that kind of thing. So it's like, this is sort of your greatest potential. Like you can step into that. You can go from this timid person to this like really confident, like kick-ass, rockin', outspoken, broad or sassy person, however you want to identify. Like it's available to you. That archetype is absolutely available to you. Whatever it is that you're passionate about and want to be outspoken about, you can gain the confidence to do that. So that's a really gorgeous message. Let's just move that up a wee bit so we can fit this in. Okay, let's see. And I've got a Goddesses, Gods and Guardians. We'll pull an oracle card from this deck and an oracle card for pile 1. Spirit, oracle card for pile 1. Let's see if we got Apollo, divine messages. Yeah, I feel like, again, this is sort of confirmation of you being a messenger for people in some way, or for some group of people, whether that's, like Germaine Greer, she for all her radical ideas, some of them really were things that women at the time in the 1970s and so on, when she was putting out a lot of her work, they really needed to hear those ideas at that time. So whether it's that group of people, whether it's a certain group of people with a certain sexual orientation, or, you know, some group of people who have been persecuted in some way, whatever it is, you are some sort of messenger for these people, and your ideas are important to like give those people a voice, because you have the opportunity to get your work out there in some way, or get your voice out there in some way, to be a messenger, and to like also receive divine inspiration or divine messengers to then be communicated to these groups of people. So that's really gorgeous energy. So let's have a look at I'm just going to move that up so you can see. Okay, and I'm going to get a couple of tarot cards now from the Intuitive Night Goddess Tarot. So can we have some energy for pile one? What does pile one need to know about their rebirth into their greatest potential? Wow. Oh, love it. Oh my goodness, I love this. Okay, so we've got Ace of Cups. Sorry, Ace of Wands, I should say, and 10 of Cups. I'll start with speaking about the Ace of Wands. This is confirming a new beginning, because Ace is the first card in each suit, so it's symbolic of a new beginning. We've got all these beautiful spring flowers coming out here. So spring could certainly be a very significant, very fertile, very creative time for you. Wands is all to do with like creativity and passion and inspiration and following the flow of creativity and following the flow of ideas, and really going with that like creative spark. Like, what are you being inspired to create, and then actually taking action on it, having that kind of fire energy to take action on something. So there's very much this new beginning, this spring that is coming into your life. Maybe some of you have been through a bit of a dark period, because with that January's rebirth, this card has quite a lot of dark energy. So some of you might have been going through a bit of a shadow time, or doing a lot of shadow work, or going through some kind of difficulty in something, maybe in the home or within family, or I'm not quite sure exactly. It'll be different for all of you. Maybe some of you haven't necessarily, but it's just a little vibe I'm picking up on with this. Like, Ace of Wands is this new, fresh start after perhaps overcoming some obstacles. You're having this opportunity to start afresh, start anew, start a creative project, put your energy behind it, put some momentum behind it, and really grow it and get it going. Like, you've got that fertile energy within you. You've got that opportunity to plant some seeds and water them and actually see them grow within your life. Now, like I said, it could be one specific project, like a book or a podcast or a channel or whatever. Even just starting a social media account. Maybe it's writing one essay for like Medium or something, and then maybe that essay kind of goes viral and it really like speaks to loads of people about a particular issue, and then maybe you then get approached to like speak on something, and it kind of, you know, flows from there. But there's something that you are going to start yourself. It's not something that's going to come to you. It's not something where you've got to sit around and wait for something, or wait for an offer, or wait for a partner. No, you are going to start it on your own. You're going to put it out into the world on your own, and it's going to be very fertile for you. Like, it's going to be like a fertile breeding ground that is going to lead to further opportunities. Like with all these flowers here, it's like this one thing that you start is going to blossom into this sort of garden of all these flowers. So really, really beautiful energy, really strong, really powerful energy. So really excited, and it's really in sync with this message about this Stala Astara and this new beginning. It might be that Astara time could be a really good time to sit and reflect and light a candle for yourself and perhaps go into nature or something, connect with the energy of spring and writing down, and the fertility as well of the star of time, and writing down your intentions for this project, whatever this is, or this new phase. You know, it might not even, you might not even know exactly what it is yet. It might just be an energy where suddenly you just start feeling a lot more inspired and a lot more like ready to put your voice out. Like you'll start a little bit timid, but the more you do it, the more confident you'll get at being a messenger. So really, really strong. I'm just getting such strong energy from you, pile number one. Really excited to see that for you. So Ace of Wands, and then finally we've got 10 of Cups, which tells me that you are going to be so happy from this work that you put out there. It's going to bring you so much fulfillment, emotional fulfillment, joy. Just it's the absolute zenith of emotional fulfillment that you can possibly get. 10 is the last number in the suit, so it starts with Ace and then it finishes with 10, so it goes all the way up, and it's the end of a cycle. It's like you can't possibly get more happy than the 10 of Cups. It's just totally happy families. And I've got this rainbow energy behind, so I'm picking up this could be a little bit related to, with the rainbows just making me think the LGBTQ, something related to rights related to LGBTQ groups or something like that, which is something that came up when I spoke about the Germaine Greer card and her speaking about, you know, sexual identity or that type of thing. So it might be that really pursuing some sort of a creative project around using your voice to stand up for those type of groups is something that's going to bring you absolute ultimate fulfillment and is going to be your greatest potential. That is going to make you the most happy. And like I said, this doesn't have to even be like this becomes your job. It might be that you still do whatever you do as your day job or something, but this is just a really important project that is going to catapult you in some way. It's going to be something that you might do on the side for a while. Maybe eventually it might become something, or it might just always be something that you do kind of concurrent to, you know, whatever you have to do to, you know, put bread on the table, so to speak. It's just something that's really, really important for your emotional fulfillment, for your happiness. Yeah, and I do see you being very much in flow with all this water energy down here, and these kind of like mermaid type characters in the water with the flowers. It's like very, very flowing energy. So this new phase, this new rebirth, this new beginning that you've got coming in is this very creative, very going with the flow, like going with that creative flow and being able to like it's like being able to fill your cup up and also like be this cup for other people. It's like something to do with the work that you put out is something that other people can drink from, and it really, really fulfills them as well, and gives them hope and gives them strength and gives them courage to be themselves. Ugh, beautiful. That is, I'm getting chills. That is gorgeous energy and gorgeous work that you're going to do. I can feel it. It's something, yeah, it's really, really powerful. Once you get the confidence to really go after it, like you're really going to just be this like beacon. You can see all these cups have got this like light shining above them. You're going to be that like light for all these people, whatever group it is that you're going to connect with, about whatever this topic is you need to be outspoken about. You're going to just be this beacon of light to like all your sort of like little soul tribe people around the world, you know, whether it's groups of women, whether it's groups of people of a certain sexual orientation, whatever it is. You're just going to be that beacon of light for people from this work you're going to do of putting your voice out there. And you're really going to grow into this, you know, like, you know, don't worry if you don't personally identify with Germaine Greer, or you think her work is rubbish, or you don't agree with her views. It's not to do with saying like you're going to be just like Germaine Greer, or people are going to think you're Germaine Greer. It's just, you know, that energy. I hope you can sort of understand the distinction. Sorry, I didn't mean to say that like that. That sounded really patronizing. I mean, I hope you can appreciate that you know, it's not saying, you know, you're exactly that person. It's just, you know, that is the type of I guess the type of not giving I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, not giving a rat's ass what other people think of your points of view. That's the level that your guides want you to get this work out there. Phew, got there in the end. So pile number 1, I'm going to leave it there, I think, because I just feel like that is all the messages I've got for you today, and to say anything else would be a bit superfluous at this time. So I hope that resonated for you and you received something from that. Please leave a message in the comment below if it did. I would love to hear from you if this resonated in any way, and if you feel comfortable enough sharing. I'd love to hear where you might be heading with this project, if it's something you've started on or whatever. I really love receiving your messages, so please do comment. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell so you'll be notified when I next upload a reading. Thank you so much for letting me read for you today. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I will see you in the next reading. All my love. Bye. Hi there, pile number 2. If you chose the fabulous Sonita Alizade, I will just read out the message from the guidebook about her, because I think it's really important to kind of honor these amazing feminist icons, and then I'll go into the channel messages and pick some oracle cards and some tarot for you. Okay, so Sonita, born 1996 in Afghanistan. Sonita Alizade grew up in Taliban-controlled Herat, Afghanistan, but she and her family subsequently fled for Iran, where she discovered rap. Although it is illegal for women to sing in public in Iran, it was there that Alizade began to write her own songs, and in 2014 she won an American songwriting competition. Soon afterwards, she was approached by the filmmaker Roxare, I'm probably not going to be able to pronounce this, Gamigami, I think it is, and the result was a music video for her song Daughters for Sale, which became an international hit. At the time, Alizade's own family were trying to sell her into marriage. Gamigami continued to film the young musician and eventually turned her story into the acclaimed documentary Sonita. Since then, Alizade, who now lives in New York, has spoken at the United Nations, and she continues to use her music and influence to address the subject of forced child marriage. Wow, what a forceful personality. She is incredible. I would highly, highly recommend, for those of you who chose this pile, to watch the documentary Sonita if you haven't already. It is absolutely incredible and so inspiring. Even if you don't want to do anything related to rap or music or anything like that, it doesn't really matter. It's just a very inspiring story about like overcoming any kind of prejudice, any kind of difficulty, any kind of challenges, and going after your dreams in whatever field that may be. I do feel like for some of you who chose this pile, there might be something around music that could be very empowering or very healing for you. So I do get a vibe that many of you are people who are very creative in some form, like you possibly write music or lyrics or poems or rap even specifically, or songs in some way, but it's sort of like expressing yourself through your voice is really important. It's interesting, it's a similar energy to pile 1, but pile 1 was more writing, I felt, whereas this pile is more like singing or speaking, using your voice in some way to speak up for others or for an issue that you might be experiencing yourself, or you've seen others in your community or your background experience. So maybe some of you have come from an environment a bit like Sonita, where there was some sort of like effectively human rights issue. She was being forced into child marriage, and she used her voice, she used her song making to speak up for that. So excuse me, I'm getting a crickle in my throat, so I feel like excuse me, throat chakra stuff for you, pile 2, is really important. So just to quickly explain, for those of you that don't know about the chakras are the main energy centers in the body. There are 7 main ones. The 5th one is the throat chakra, and it's all about if it's balanced, it's all about being able to express yourself authentically, being able to use your voice, being able to set boundaries, being able to speak up for yourself, being able to express your creativity in some way, whether it's through singing, whether it's through writing, whether it's through music or poetry or dance or whatever form. It's just being able to feel confident to use your voice for yourself or others in whatever situation you are in life. When it's in shadow or when it's blocked, that can look like essentially all the opposite things to everything I just said. So not being able to speak up for yourself, not being able to speak up for others, feeling very, very repressed, feeling very suppressed, feeling very victimized, maybe even in situations where you could use your voice to speak up about something, like, say, for example, in a relationship situation, you might just find that you find it difficult to express your needs. And that could be because you've got a blocked throat chakra, or it might be that in say, your dreams or your career aspirations, you really want to do something like Sunita, maybe put your music out there, or put a book out there, or, speak up for something. And that's something that for some reason you just can't, like, you keep trying and it just doesn't work out for you. You sort of start something and you're unable to finish it or whatever. That could be a sign of a blocked throat chakra. So things, just very quickly, things you can do to balance your throat chakra are drinking plenty of fluids is really, really important. Just as a really quick and easy one, drinking plenty of water, blue things like blue foods or blue crystals. For those of you that are into crystals, sodalite and lapis lazuli are both really, really excellent crystals for balancing the throat chakra and being able to tap into your authentic voice. I do feel like for some of you who chose this poll, this might be a big life mission for you, or a big challenge in your life, to really unblock your throat chakra and get your voice out there in some way. And it's really important you do that, because there's something around you being able to speak up for the rights even of other groups of people, or speak up about an issue that maybe you might have experienced. Maybe it was some kind of abuse, maybe it was some kind of persecution, whatever it might be. There was something that you may have experienced as a child, as a teenager, I don't know, maybe in the workplace, it could be as an adult, in a relationship, whatever, but there's something that you need to share with it could be just a small group of people, it could be a community, it could be the world even, depending on your individual soul mission. I can't speak to that in this reading. It's a general reading, so just you'll have a sense, you'll have a resonance for what you're meant to put out there. But I do feel like getting your voice out there and being able to speak up for others is something. Maybe some of you might be like becoming some sort of human rights advocate or lawyer, or working in that field. You don't necessarily need to be a full-blown lawyer. It could be that you just do pro bono work, being like an assistant to a lawyer, for example, or something like that. But there's something around, sorry, they're drawing my attention to this last bit, seeing the world you want to see. So also this can be about unblocking your throat chakra and using your voice to be the change you wish to see in the world, and speak into existence the kind of world that you want to see. So maybe some of you are gonna, you might go into politics, or you might go into just speaking. You could even just, for example, create your own channel or social media platform or something, and you speak about the kinds of things that you just want to see in the world, in relation to that, whether it's that issue or just generally what you want to actually see happen in the world. Maybe some of you are big activists for something like, I'm getting like eco activists. You might be big, really passionate about the environment and speaking up for the environment. And so there might be something around speaking into existence the kinds of initiatives that you want to see start to happen. Like maybe that could even just be really small, like within your own community. You want to see people in your community start to pick up their litter, for example, in the park or something, and you just start speaking about that. Maybe you join a local council group or a local community group, and you start saying like, let's all, get together and create an environment that's really clean and clear, and whatever it is. That's just a tiny small example, but for some of you it might be something small, for some of you it might be something really big. It might be, maybe you already have a social media platform and it's going on there and really speaking about, this is the change I want to see in the world, and like speaking it into existence, like being a part of that change, like literally embodying that change that you want to see, and living from that space, like living from that, like those ideals. Like you're going to be a role model for other people. So if it is to do with environmentalism, like you're able to really demonstrate, for example, maybe you have a really sustainable home and you've done all these things to build that home in that way and create all these sustainable products that you use around the home, and you just start a channel sharing that. And that's like, you're not putting anyone else down, you're not necessarily focusing on what's wrong with the world, you're just showing like what could be. Maybe if it's like Sunita, like you've been in an environment where there's some kind of massive human rights issue, it's like maybe you then create something where you're doing something really cool for that group of people that might have been, victimized or persecuted or suppressed or something like that in your home environment, or in when you were growing up, or whatever it might be. And you are now in a position to be able to create like a better future for that group by like either speaking up about it or like just demonstrating how you're doing that in some way. So like I'm thinking, for example, of people who do foster parenting, so maybe they've gone through a broken home system, like a broken foster system, and they've been maybe experienced abuse or something like that, and then they grow up and they demonstrate how to, like, they do a lot of healing work and everything like that, and they then demonstrate how to tackle that system, or how to like provide a safer domestic space for children who've been in that scenario or something. It could be something like that. But there's something to do with creating a new world through your voice and speaking it into existence and being like a role model that is like your greatest potential and something that you are rebirthing into at some point. So let's go into the oracle cards to see some more messages around how this is going to play out for you. So we'll start with the Wild Woman Oracle. Can we have a Wild Woman Oracle? Wow. The Creatrix. Wow. So we see someone sort of writing here. So creativity, like I said, maybe some of you are like songwriters, maybe some of you are writers, or you're just writing ideas here. You're being very creative. You're staying up late at night, maybe noting ideas down for different things that you want to do. There's a lot of energy of creativity. So using your creativity in some way to essentially birth this new world that you want to see, this change that you want to see, this thing that you've either experienced or you're really passionate about, or was an issue for you growing up, or whatever, that you want to now show to people how to do it. It's doing it in a creative way. So thinking about it creatively. How can you use your creativity in whatever form that is? Like I said, singing, dancing, poetry, music, acting, some kind of creative activism work, like being, doing, like say Banksy. I don't know if those of you outside of the UK, if you're familiar with, Banksy's work, like he created all these incredible street art installations, and they were really powerful and really sparked a lot of ideas and a lot of discussion and everything. So that's really creative. It's using art to really make a statement. And like Sunita, she used her voice, she used rap to make a statement. So it's something around something creative that is going to be your greatest potential here. Let's see, we've got another card for you. It might not be. Oh, there we go. Thought there was another one. Artemis, She of the Wild, Mercy. Wow, beautiful. Yeah, there's something around needing to break out of some sort of environment that is a bit restrictive or a bit like domesticated or kind of tame or something, and really tap into that like wild self, that like Artemis self, where you set an intention. Like she's got the bow and arrow here. You set an intention and you really just go after it, kind of thing. Like you go out into the wild and you pursue it. It's very like strong energy, strong adventurous energy. I'm just gonna have a look at the book because I feel like there's something specific in here that they want me to speak about. Where are we? So Artemis acknowledges that you may be experiencing cruelty or negativity at the hands of another, and she takes mercy on your demoralized heart. In time, know that, like Artemis, you have the ability to use this hurtful experience in order to develop greater mercy, empathy, and understanding for both yourself and others. Yeah, so I did speak about like some of you might have experienced something in your childhood or in your community or something like that. So there's definitely something around kind of like using that and then creatively working with it and then expressing it in order to both heal yourself and create more empathy and be able to forgive the people that hurt you or the group that hurt you or whatever it is, and then also to raise awareness and be able to be like a voice for others, because I believe that that Sunita did a lot to raise awareness about, you know, forced child marriage and things like that. So it's both going to be like a healing process for you, this work, this creative work, this forgiveness work, as well as be like an opportunity, I guess, as well as be something where it will lead to more understanding for other people. It's like an issue that other people need to understand more about. So it could be, the other thing I'm picking up is that this could be to do with mental health. Maybe some of you might have had some sort of, you might have been in the mental health system in some way, or had some sort of issues with mental health as a child or as a young adult or something like that. And it's, there's something to do with creative work around raising awareness about something. So maybe you were diagnosed with a particular condition, and then there's some awareness that needs to be raised about this. But part of that is perhaps forgiving the group of people that didn't understand that. Like maybe you suffered from that condition and you were persecuted in some way. Maybe at school you were bullied, or maybe in the workplace you weren't understood and you were pushed into things that you found very difficult or confronting, or, you know, it could be on a whole spectrum. Some of you could have come from, you know, families like Sunita or backgrounds like Sunita with rules and cultural restrictions that were, you know, incredibly difficult, and you've now moved to a better place or a safer place, and you no longer have to live under that persecution or those regulations or those restrictions. But there's still a little bit around needing to forgive those people that did those things to you, and then also in the process raise awareness so that other people, other generations, future children, future people are more aware about this issue and they don't suffer quite as much. That's the crux behind the rebirth that you're going to go through and the work that you're going to go through to step into your greatest potential. So wow, really, really powerful, really, really powerful energy there, pile number 2. I'm going to get I think this is from the Believe in Your Own Magic Oracle. It's a little bit big. Let's see if I can shuffle this okay. Here we go. Another message for, here we go. Wow, flower, be honest with yourself. And she's got a hand over her mouth. This is very, very much to do with speaking your truth and getting your truth out there, being honest with yourself. So there's something around something that you need to be honest with yourself about, open up about, speak your truth about, get your truth out there. Stop like keeping your voice to yourself or keeping your thoughts to yourself. You've got to express them. It might be that some of you need to do that within a very safe environment, like initially just within, say, a therapeutic environment or something. And then once you've gone through a bit of a healing process, then you can speak the truth about these things to a wider audience, maybe as part of this like creative work that you're going to put out there. But there's very much this push to speak your truth. This encouragement from your spirit team to speak your truth. I'm also getting with the number 17. This could be a significant age for some of you. So it could be that whatever this thing was that may have happened to you might have been something at age 17 or around that age. That might just be for a few of you, but there could well be something around like speaking up for like your teenage self or something that you need to talk about now. The time has come to like to get those it's not so much like ideas, it's like get that energy out. You need to express it in some kind of creative way. You can alchemize the pain and some of the experiences that happen to you. You can alchemize them into something creative and express them in the way that Sunita did through her rap. It was like a creative outlet for her that then led to this, you know, incredible platform, raising awareness around the world about this issue. And now, didn't it say she speaks to the, was it the UN or something? Whoopsie. Was that it? Yeah. She's spoken at the United Nations and continues to use her music and influence to address the subject of forced child marriage. So some of you might not have been through anything quite that extreme, but you might have still been through something quite traumatic or something quite abusive. And I'm so sorry if you have. I really understand your pain. It is extremely difficult to go through something like that, let alone to open up about it and then sort of carry the mantle of feeling like responsibility for needing to speak about it. But I do feel like when you're ready, this will be very healing for you. With that Artemis of the Wild, it talked about that process of like needing to work through being able to find compassion for the people that did that. And in that process of doing that work, you'll then be able to raise awareness for other people, and it will help stop that cycle in some way. So being honest and expressing your truth is really, really, really important at some point when you are ready and when you feel safe enough to do so. But doing something creative with that energy might be really useful in the meantime. So even just journaling some of these feelings and energies, just writing in some way, even if it's just for yourself for now, until you're at a point where you can start putting it out there a little bit more. I'm going to get a Goddesses, Gods and Guardian card for you, and then we'll move into the tarot. We have wow, really strong. Yeah, okay, I'm going to start with a Mother Mary. So we've got Mother Mary emotional healing. So there's a big theme around healing for this pile, for pile number 2. There's, yeah, I feel like maybe it's something to do with, yeah, this could have been some kind of emotional abuse that you went through. It's interesting she's wearing blue here, and I spoke about blue being the color of the throat chakra. So yeah, healing your throat chakra, healing your voice. Maybe your voice was suppressed in some way. Maybe something happened to you as a child and you weren't able to speak up for yourself, or if you did try to speak up for yourself, you were persecuted in some way. So there's a lot of healing and a lot of emotional healing work that needs to happen in order to be able to like get your truth out there. But when you're able to eventually go through that, whatever creative work you do feel comfortable enough to put out, you will be extremely successful in it. It will feel very sweet to you. It will feel very like what's the word? Not quite vindication. That's not quite the right word, but I can't think of the exact word. It's not vindication, because that's more coming from an ego space of like, ha, like, yeah, like, see, you might have screwed me over, but like, look at me now. It's not that, but it's like it's kind of almost that. It's like sweet revenge, or like, for the people that might have tried to keep you down, like when you were eventually able to alchemize this pain and creatively work with it and put it out in the world in some form, it will feel quite sweet, in the sense that you'll feel released from it. It's more that you'll feel a sense of like relief and release, and like understanding, like an internal understanding of like why that thing needed to happen. When you sometimes hear about trauma victims, and people have gone through really horrific things, like even Holocaust victims and things like this, and they've done so much work in their lives that they get to a certain point where they just have compassion. All they have left is compassion for the person who persecuted them, and they've somehow been able to transcend their pain and transcend their trauma and transcend the things that those people did to them, and still be able to have this like sweet life in some way, still be able to have this success in some way. And it's almost like it's even sweeter, because they had such a difficult upbringing, or such a difficult beginning. It's like they went through so much to get to the point that they finally get to. And I feel like for you, Paul, too, there is definitely something you've been through. It doesn't necessarily have to be as extreme as what Sunita went through, like being forced into child marriage, but it could have been something very terrifying still to you as a child, or something still very painful, still that's, still blocked and still difficult to speak about, but it's really important to speak about it and get it out there in some way eventually. Because it'll be very healing for you, and also it will allow you to like this is your greatest potential. Like this will be your success, or you'll be able to find success and find sweetness in life and feel plugged into your greatest potential when you are doing something creative around getting your voice out there about this type of thing. So I feel like that's the rest of the messages for the oracle cards. I'm going to finish with some tarot, an intuitive night goddess. So okay, intuitive night goddess, can we have, woohoo, what have we got here? Wow, the sun, beautiful. Yeah, the sun can often be linked with like the child, or the home, or like the inner child. It's also linked with optimism and happiness and all the things that can like grow from the warmth of the sun. So I do feel like you are going to step into a period where things are going to be so much happier for you, where things are going to really bloom for you. You're going to have so much more confidence. Just life is going to feel sunnier and brighter, more optimistic. And this is a major arcana card. So this is really a big life thing for you. This is a big life change, or a big life moment for you. But another meaning of the sun card is to do with inner child healing. And I do feel like with that Mother Mary emotional healing and everything I spoke about, with maybe something that had happened to you as a child or a teenager, there is some like, yeah, childhood healing that is going to happen. It's like the sun will just, that archetype, that journey, it'll just happen organically. It's going to come about for you. There's going to be opportunities to be able to heal that part of yourself. Really beautiful energy. Let's see if there's another card for pile number 2. We have another card for pile 2. Wow, that one came out. Beautiful meditation. My goodness, this card looks so similar, and the energy is so similar to this Mother Mary card. Sorry, I'm going to pull my light a little bit closer. It's getting a wee bit dark. So they've both got these golden halos around their head, and they're both shrouded, and they're both like mother figures. So there's a lot around needing to perhaps meditate, go within, do some like inner child healing, some inner child meditations, really just sit with like nurturing yourself, you know, letting the tears flow. You can see that you can see that like you'll be able to alchemize the pain and then come into this beautiful restful state. Hopefully you can see with the camera here her smile. She's got this really beatific smile on her face, like really serene and rested, and like it's just really beautiful energy. And I do feel like that is coming for you, pile number 2. That is your greatest potential, that you are going to be able to shine your light. You are going to be able to feel confident enough to put yourself out there. You are going to be able to heal the inner child within. And then really be able to take this leading role in like nurturing yourself and finding that like inner peace as well with her meditation card. There might be, whoops, sorry, I just knocked the camera. There might be something specific in the guidebook. One moment. I love this guidebook. It's got quite deep messages for a tarot deck. So let's see. X11. So yeah, traditionally the Hanged Man. Maintaining her concentration and bliss. She does not fight nature, but instead turns within. This is the application of the Strength card, to accept that sometimes we cannot leave, fight, or change, and must let it be. How can we stay where we are but still show up for ourselves? Through this work, you can ascend to your higher self and find knowledge and understanding of the stasis you are currently experiencing. We are always on our path, even when we reach a roadblock. Allow multiple things to coexist and ride their course before making a decision. Allow things to be, even if they are in states of tension. Use your breath and focus. This card is ruled by Neptune, which transits in the background. Neptune represents the subconscious, dreams, inspiration, and intuition. The universe is trying to contact you now, so create a space to receive those messages. Be patient. This may result in a new perspective or letting go of something to create more space. And the keywords are patience, receptivity, surrender, and release. So yeah, I feel like this is kind of confirming what that creativity card was saying. You know, sort of this is you really creating space to be able to like honor that intuition, that inspiration that comes through, you know, being able to journal, do some healing work, receive things, receive downloads or ideas or healing thoughts or whatever it is that you need to. But meditation could be very healing for you. I'm going to get one more tarot card for you, pile 2. Whoops. Oh my goodness. Okay. 1 second. I'll tidy this up. Apologies for that, pile number 2. Goodness, that was a really dramatic way to draw my attention to this card, which was at the bottom of that big mess that you saw a second ago. And we have card number 2, which is another. We've got 3 major arcana cards. You've got big life stuff going on, because major arcana is a big life shift or change or passage or transition or whatever. So yeah, High Priestess, this card is all about really being able to tap into your intuition, your divine self, your higher self. We've got her holding like the moon here, which is symbolic of like the subconscious realms, subconscious healing, the intuition, inspiration. And she's also got this these antlers on her head, which is like being able to be a receptor for that wisdom that can come down from like the heavenly realm. And funnily enough, you've also got with the Artemis card, she's also got the same antlers on her head. So there's something around you really being able to be like a receptor for like divine wisdom, that all of this difficult stuff that happened to you was to awaken you to this talent, this ability to be able to receive wisdom, and heal yourself, and then potentially be able to heal others as well. There's something in the book as well about this high priestess, which I'm going to read for you. So yeah, there are black and white flowers surrounding her to represent the contrast that life offers us. Neither is better than the other. Both light and dark are beautiful in their own ways. We must remember during hard times that there are lessons to learn and pathways for us to grow through. The pomegranates reference, there's pomegranates down the bottom there. The pomegranates reference the Greek myth of Persephone and Hades, or the fruits of what we can embrace to nourish ourselves from winter until spring. The goddess asks us to recognize a feminine duality, the mystery that cannot be known but is waiting to be understood. Trust in the affirmations of your experiences and let your intuition lead you to explore where they lead. You are your own master. Beautiful. I'm going to leave it there because I feel like that is, you kind of can't get a more beautiful message than that. That's really powerful and really inspiring. Okay, my lovely Pile 2s, I hope that resonated for you. Please leave a comment in the box below. If it did, I would love to hear from you. Thank you so much for supporting my channel. Sorry, my words just the end of the day. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks for your subscriptions. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you'll be notified when I next upload a reading, and I will see you in the next reading. All my love and all the best with your journey. Bye-bye. Hi there, pile number 3. If you chose the fabulous comedian, excuse me, Ellen DeGeneres, this will be your reading. Okay, so I'm going to start with the description about Ellen in the guidebook, although most of you probably know who she is, but let's just get into that first, and then we'll go into some oracle cards, and we've got some tarot to finish. Ellen DeGeneres has been making people laugh her whole life. She started out doing stand-up in coffee houses in the 1990s. She starred in 2 eponymous sitcoms, and since 2003 she has hosted her own hugely successful talk show. Her hysterical, personal and honest observations about life have also been a way for her to open up on the subject of sexuality and gender in comedy and in US society in general, and she came out as a lesbian on national television in 1997 on the Oprah Winfrey Show. She is the recipient of the Presidential Medal of Freedom and the Golden Globes Carol Burnett Lifetime Achievement Award. Very successful lady. So I'm just going to start with some channeled messages I got through for your pile number 3, and then I'll move on to the oracle cards. So the energy that I pick up from you, pile 3, if you were drawn to this card, is that you are meant to be in the spotlight in some way. Now, this doesn't necessarily have to be having your own like world famous chat show on a major television channel or anything, although it might be. This could be just doing something. It could be something related to comedy. Like it could be I'm sort of seeing some of you doing something that's like theatrical, like being on a stage thing, like doing comedy stage shows, or like maybe it could even be stand-up comedy or just some kind of like funny theater shows. But I feel like for more of you, it's like writing your own thing. It's not so much just starring in something that's someone else's show, like for example, being in, you know, like Cats on stage or something, excuse me, or being, you know, like even in a TV program. I don't know why I'm getting like The Simpsons. Like, I guess maybe some of you can really do voices, and maybe like, you know, you've been doing voice work or like voiceover work or something, and so you're kind of being put like cast in shows or on stage or something, but it's like doing other people's work, like as in you're being cast in a show that's already been written by someone else, or you're just playing a part that's been scripted for you. And really the energy that I'm getting for you, pile 3, is that you're meant to write your own stuff, or you're meant to star in something that's purely yours in whatever form that is. It doesn't have to be comedy. It doesn't even have to be on stage or anything, or even on TV. This could be like, you know, maybe some of you are students, you're at university or something, and maybe you are even studying something not even remotely related to this kind of thing. Like maybe you're doing engineering or something totally different, but there's an opportunity to join, like, you know, drama society, or I know in the US you call it something different, but I grew up in New Zealand. I'm sorry, so I don't know what the name is for the groups. Maybe someone can comment below what you call it. But in university where I went to, we called it like drama soc, which is like drama society, and that was like the group that would, you know, put on shows and stuff for university students. So maybe some of you are students and there's an opportunity to do something like that, in which case, if you have the opportunity to do something like that, go do it, because you are meant to be in that type of environment, and also have the courage to like write stuff, because you are brilliant, you've got great ideas, you're funny, people love what you're writing, people love your sense of humor. Even if you don't think you're very funny, you are. If you're drawn to this pile strongly, then there's something around like people are just going to love what you put out there. Maybe it isn't strictly comedy, but it's something around like, it could even be talking about important issues. One of the other things we spoke about with Ellen DeGeneres is actually spoke up about like gender rights and gay rights, or you know, her experience with, you know, gender and being gay in the comedy industry at the time, or, you know, even just generally in American society at the time. And so it could be something to do with that. It could be getting involved in something where you get to use your voice around an issue that you've either experienced yourself personally or you're really close to in some way. But there's something around like you needing to put yourself somehow in the spotlight, or like in the limelight a little bit more. Maybe some of you already are doing that a wee bit. I'm kind of getting a vibe that some of you are already involved in some sort of like maybe acting, or maybe you've done it in the past, you've done theater or something like that, but there's definitely a need to kind of step that up a little bit more, or get involved with that. Like even if you're at work and you work full time, maybe you could join like a you know, amateur dramatic society, or a or like go to like an open mic night. If you are into comedy and that's something that has interested you before, and you've got some comedy stuff ready, then go to a few open mic nights that other people are doing. Or like the other thing I'm getting is like poetry slam, that type of thing, like people who do poetry slam nights, or kind of live performance evenings with like a mix of different creative people doing different things. There's a lot, you know, if wherever you are, hopefully you're somewhere in the world where you have access, even if it's not in your own town or city, but you have the ability to get yourself to a town or city where people are doing that kind of thing, where there's some kind of open mic night around the type of thing that you're doing. Or even actually, I'm picking up on another group of people where you should get yourself to an open mic night anyway, even if you've never done anything like that before, or even if you don't even think you can do anything like that before, because you might be really inspired by something you see there, and you might see someone else who is talking about the kinds of things that you're passionate about, and that will give you the courage and the inspiration to put your own voice out there in whatever field you're meant to kind of go into. And also, I'm being guided to say this part about the follow the fire in your belly, not the money in the bank. So it's important not to pursue this type of path for like fame and glory and money and all that kind of stuff. Not that I feel like you're necessarily doing that, but just pursue it because you're fired up about something. Like keep the like the reason, the core reason behind it at to heart, or it's sort of like follow that niggle. Like if you've got that, like, oh, I really need to just speak up about this issue, or oh, it really bugs me when, you know, people in my industry like put me down because I'm a XYZ, you know, fill in the blank, whatever, however, you know, whatever there might be some way that you identify, or something like that, that is something that, you know, you've experienced discrimination around, or like harassment around, or something, and there's a need to speak up about that now, or a need to, like, you know, maybe even put material out there about it. Like I'm getting a visual of someone doing like even just like TikTok videos about it, or like YouTube shorts or videos about it, you know, like doing little sketches of like the experiences that you've had where, like, you know, I'll give you a really stupid example using myself. Like this is a really lame example because it's not a serious thing at all, and I wouldn't do videos about this, but it's just to give you an idea of, like, I'm celiac, so I can't eat anything with gluten in. And one thing that can be quite difficult is when I go to places, like, you know, I get people saying, like, sometimes asking strange questions about it, or like, you know, they'll like, I've been like, someone said on a plane once, like, they gave me something and I asked if it was gluten-free, and they were like, oh, can you see the gluten in it, or something really strange like that. Anyway, that's a really it's not a very eloquent example. I wish I could give something better, but I don't want to, like, sort of say anything too specific, because all of you are going to have totally different experiences of some form of, like, having people behave stupidly to you around something like that, or around something far more serious than that, you know. But it's the point of telling you that ridiculous story was to kind of, like, say, like, oh, I could do some funny videos which would raise awareness about gluten-free and celiacs, and, you know, the difficulties with being on a gluten-free diet, and how you can't cross-contaminate, and how you can't see what gluten is, like, you know. And I could do, like, little sketches of like experiences with you know, restaurant staff or something, you know. That's just, yeah, really silly example, but, like, you get the idea. Like, you know, you could do it related to something, you know, however small or big it is. You know, it could be a sexual orientation thing, it could be you know, a racial thing, it could be just something a bit more, like, personal to you, like, you know, maybe even to do with, like, ability, like maybe you had a like learning ability issues or something like that, and you've received harassment or discrimination, or just a total lack of understanding from people about that. And there's some way that you can raise awareness around it in a potentially humorous way, if that's how you are inclined, if you already are like that. I feel like for many of you, you are. And by doing it in a comedic way, it will raise so much awareness about this thing. For others of you, you might not be so comedically inclined, and that's okay, but there's still something around, like, doing something creative, or putting your voice or yourself in the spotlight in some way to get to get this issue, or raise awareness about something, or draw attention to something, or something like that. So you'll know, because you'll be somewhere on a spectrum where you'll have a thing that you're like, yeah, I'm, you know, this always bugs me, or these people, you know, you know, all my experiences in this industry are terrible because, you know, people assume XYZ about me. You know, it could be really specific to your situation, you know, like maybe, for example, you're a waitress or a waiter, and you just get, like, customers, you know, treating you like absolute crap, which I'm sure for anyone who's been in the service industry, like, you have been on the receiving end of that. And you do some funny videos or some enlightening videos or something around the experience of being in that kind of industry, and how rough it is, and how tough it is, and how awful it is. And particularly if you're maybe received harassment or something like that. And, it's that type of thing. It's like finding your platform, getting your work out there, possibly in a humorous way, but in a way that attracts attention and raises awareness about that issue, and then also gives you some form of a platform to be able to then continue to express yourself in some way, shape, or form. So I feel like that's your greatest potential. That's something that you're going to grow into. That's something that, like, you've got that fire in your belly, I feel like, already, pile 3. You already know what you're fired up about. You already know what issues you already know what issues you want to give voice to, or like you're passionate about. And it might be many, it might be more than one, it might be across like different things, different topics, or different themes, or different experiences. But it's really important that you show this stuff to someone in some way. It's like, why am I saying that? I feel like some of you already have stuff, because I'm getting this vibe of like you need to show your work. Maybe some of you have a I don't know what it's called, like those of you in the acting industry or whatever, you have like a tape, right? Like an audition tape or something. Like you have work, like is it like a portfolio? That's for writers. I'm sorry, I don't know what it's called for people who are in the industry. I haven't ever been in acting, so I don't know. But if you are in that, or you're in comedy or something, either you already have some work you could pull together, or you already have like a show tape, something like that, and you need to put it in front of people because you are good, pile 3, and this is your greatest potential. It's like your greatest potential could be being as big as Ellen DeGeneres. It may not be in the same exact same way, because like standard television is declining somewhat in popularity, and a lot of there's a lot of people who are successful on other platforms now. So it may not be that you end up on TV, like normal TV, but you might end up on something else, or you might be equally as famous, or you have the potential to be equally as big or equally as impactful, or raise awareness as much about that kind of thing. Because I do remember like when she kind of came out of the closet, so to speak, and like I don't think I saw that exact show when she was on Oprah Winfrey, but it was very it was pretty big at the time for her to come out and say that that was her identity. Like hardly anyone was really doing that, especially not women. Obviously a lot has changed now, but the point is that whatever you need to like come out of the closet about, like you need to speak up about, you need to like show your true self to the world about. And that's this message: to be yourself first, find out who you are. So there's something around like getting really clear on who you really are, and then you like really being that, and then really showing that to the world. And it's really important you do that, because I think it's going to give a lot of encouragement to other people who have the same thing going on, the same situation, whether it's something really specific, or an identity thing, or it could be something really big, whatever it is. It's important that you put yourself out there. So that is your greatest potential, part number 3. I almost feel like that is your whole message in a nutshell without saying anything else. But I am going to pull some other cards from the Oracle decks. And we've got Wild Woman Oracle here. Wow. Ooh, Goddess of Death. Goodness. Okay. So, yeah, I'm getting that this is like an aspect of your identity that needs to be like stripped away, so that you can just like show the world your true self. There's some sort of like death and rebirth that needs to happen. Some sort of like letting go of a part of you that is not really who you are, or like a mask. Like dropping a mask of like who is like dropping the mask of this self that isn't actually you, that's like actually dead. And it's just not serving you anymore. So you've got to just drop that and like be your true self. Let's get another, let's see if there's another Wild Woman Oracle. Pile 3. Peace of the Goddess, inner peace. Yeah, I feel like doing that, like dropping the front, dropping the mask, dropping the old self, stepping into who you truly are, like really getting clear on who that is, and then having the courage to show up as that person is going to give you so much peace. Like I feel like this sense of like relief, because you can finally just be who you are. You can just be comfortable in your own skin. You can see in this picture she's like really comfy, she's wearing her comfy clothes, and she's got her like hot cocoa and like her little cat in her arms, and she's just like happy and peaceful and being who she is and being comfortable in her environment. And it's like, it's like this you that is the like private you, the real you needs to like come out into the limelight, like needs to come into the spotlight. But there is a bit of a death process that needs to happen as part of this like rebirth, which makes sense because, you know, rebirth usually follows an ending. It usually follows a death process. So there is a little bit of letting go of something, kind of dying to an old part of yourself that you just don't need. And you'll all be at different stages of that. So some of you might be a bit further along in finding out who you really are or knowing who you really are, and others of you will be on a bit of a journey of figuring that out. Let's get a Believe in Your Own Magic card. Have a Believe in Your Own Magic card. Pile 3. Get a Believe in Your Own Magic card for pile 3. Okay, let's try that again. Oh, I'm just kidding, it's this one. Wow, endings are inevitable. And we've got death and endings. So something needs to be let go of. Something needs to be released. Something, there's like an inevitability about it. Like something is like moving on from something. She's wearing like a kind of witchy hat here. Maybe some of you are part of this kind of coming out process is like coming out of the broom closet, so to speak, like coming out of the witchy closet and really showing yourself as a witch or something. That will just be for, you know, that's quite a specific message. But I just got that with the hat. That could be specific to someone. But there's definitely sort of a death like a death process, not a literal death, a death process, like a letting go, a falling away of a mask, letting go of an old version of yourself. And this might be walking away from some things or some people or some environments that aren't serving you in order to like step into the truth of who you really are and step into the spotlight and shine your light of who you really are and find that inner peace. Interesting. Let's get a little bit more. Get a Goddesses, Gods and Guardian card for you. Whoa, that came out fast. Wowza, Hathor, Soul Family. Yeah, like finding by being yourself, you'll really be able to, and letting go of people that aren't serving you and situations that aren't serving you, you'll really be able to find your true soul tribe or your true family, your true soul family, people who support you, who are like you, who recognize your struggles, who, you know, it's that kind of ugly duckling story, you know, like some of you might have been in an environment a bit like the ugly duckling where you were told like, hey, you're not one of us, you're really ugly. And actually then you eventually left that environment. You know, endings are inevitable. You eventually moved away, or they moved away, or whatever, and then you were able to eventually come across your swan family. And the swans were like, hey, no, you're not a duck, you're not a duckling. The reason they thought you were ugly is because they thought you were a duck, but you're not a duck, you're a swan. And then, like, look how beautiful you are, you're actually a swan. And so there's this beautiful, like, death and rebirth into this, like, true swan self, this true, like, shiny, like, you know, someone in the spotlight, because you're being your true self and you're able to attract all the people who are like your true soul family, and they are around you and they are supporting you. But it's interesting, the colors on these cards are quite similar. There's a lot of gray, but also like pinks and yellows and peaches. I don't know if you can see that. Hopefully you can see that with the sky. So that's quite interesting. But the energy of these two characters is quite different. This one's sort of in mourning. I feel like this goes with this card, the sort of like endings and kind of death process, like some kind of falling away, some kind of letting go of something in order to step into this like soul, this like really beautiful, empowered, strong, just like shining her light, just being herself, really radiant, really supported with like her soul family all around her. So wow, that's really gorgeous. I might just move into the tarot messages for you now. Pile number 3. Let's see. So Spirit, can we have some tarot messages for pile 3? Well, that one jumped. 6 of Pentacles and 4 of Cups. Yeah, so I feel like you are going to be really abundant, pile number 3, when you really find out who you really are and start shining your light and stepping into the spotlight, whether it is like something like acting, putting on a stage show, a theater show, comedy, stand-up comedy, creating your own platform, videos, whatever it is. But like, it's going to bring you a lot of abundance, a lot of financial security and wealth, so much so that you're able to give to others. Like, you'll have just such an overflow of that you'll be able to give. Yeah, you'll be able to give some of your I see some of you actually like setting up a foundation or something, like giving some of your, you know, like a portion of your earnings or something to some kind of cause or something that you're really passionate about. So that's really, really amazing that you're able to do that. And we've got 4 of Cups, which I feel like this is you sitting here being a little bit like not in a position to be able to really receive the cup that's being offered to you. It's like it's right in front of you, like your success and the opportunities and stuff are right in front of you, but you can see this person's kind of looking, he looks a little bit like grumpy or like a bit like, nope, I don't really want to look at it. I'm gonna look over here. And there's like a sort of a, yeah, just an inability to really be able to receive that and drink from it and draw from it. Okay, I'm also getting some of you might not be wanting to take this opportunity or continue with this because you've maybe tried before multiple times. So maybe, for example, if some of you were actors or comedians or something, and you've put your, you know, you've tried out for, you've auditioned for like multiple different shows or multiple different movies even, or like stage things or something, or you've sent your work off, your tape, for example, your show reel to different platforms or people or something, and you've been rejected, and or it just hasn't really worked out or something, or you haven't really enjoyed it or something. But there's like this energy of like, well, I've done I've done those three. I've done that and that and that, and I've tried it, and I'm just done. I can't do anymore, and it's not going to make me happy. But there's this fourth cup that's coming in that, like, your guides or your spirit team or whatever keep trying to give you, like, yeah, but just try this. Like, you haven't tried this. Just try this one option. We promise this will be like, this will give you the fulfillment that you need. Interesting. I'm going to get another message about that. We have a bit more guidance about this. Four of Cups. Wow. Nymph of Wands. Yeah, I'm getting this, like, needing to go back to, like, beginner's mind and also tap into, like, a creative well. So again, I did mention at the beginning that some of you may need to, like, write your own stuff, like write your own stage thing, or write your own, like, videos or something, like create your own content for whichever platform that is, or whichever type of audience that is, or about whichever issue you're interested in. But there's something around, like, kind of going back to a state of innocence and, like, a beginner's mind, and tapping into, like, a well of creativity that will just come through you, and trusting that to see where it takes you. Let's see. I think there might be something in the guidebook about that one. Nymph of Wands. Where are we? Wands. Okay. Because this is in this Intuitive Night Goddess deck, it's got Nymph in place of Page of Wands. So in this case, the Nymph represents one about to begin a bigger journey, start a project, experience a milestone, or a catalyst to transcend. A candle stands in the top circle, representing the element of the suit fire. Fire, which connotes spirituality, that initiating spark, creativity, ideas, inspiration, and passion. Take time to focus on what it is you want to bring into this world by observing your surroundings to see how you can best lay plans. You may not have much now, but trust in yourself and the manifesting will follow. This could be a good time to invest in self-care. It is often when we create this space for self that we open up to our intuitive relationship with the universe. What is it that you are trying to channel? What can patience bring you? And the keywords are insight, exploration, originality, personal guidance. Yeah, originality, that's really important. That's a big theme that's kind of come up here, is being true to, like, your real self, being original, writing your own content or creating your own content, showing your true face, putting your true self out there. But there's definitely some new project that you can start with that Nymph of Wands. There's like a new direction for you to go in. That's this cup that your spirit team are trying to bring you, this opportunity or option or offer, which is why self-care, and you can see in this card as well, this goes quite nicely with this piece of the goddess, because you can see here, this is another message to kind of say, carve out that time to, like, spend time in your room, tuning into yourself, relaxing, having a nice hot drink, reading your books, and then journaling, writing ideas down, writing inspiration down as it comes, creating ideas for, like, whatever content it is you want to create, or whatever it is you want to do, whatever dreams you want to birth. But just honoring that, creating space for it, and then honoring it, and tapping into that creative well, because there is this opportunity to go forward with this creative project in some way, or this idea, or this energy. But there's a bit of a need to just, like, carve out some space and tune in and receive that inspiration, receive that wisdom, receive that guidance, and see what ideas you get from that space. And then that will lead to you being able to like create a platform for yourself, get yourself in the spotlight, get yourself out there, be really heard, meet the soul family you're meant to meet people that are gonna like really appreciate you, really appreciate the real you. Yeah, it's really amazing energy, pile 3. You've got really great oh, this little snowdrop wants to come out. You've got really fun, vibrant, fresh energy, but there's just maybe a need to kind of like let go of some things, carve out some space for self-care, carve out some space for some new, fresh, creative ideas to come through. And then then eventually you'll be able to honor these opportunities that are coming to you, because at the moment there's like I'm tired, or like I'm bored, or like I don't want to do this path anymore, or whatever, because maybe you've gotten a bit burnt out by like trying to do it the way someone else wants you to do it, or trying to like do it in a way where you're masking your true self. There's like an old you. There's like an old you that you need to let go of. So there might be a bit of a rebirth around stepping into who you really are, and showing that part of yourself to the world, coming up with some creative ideas around how you can show your real self to the world in some way. And you are going to be very successful for most of you. You'll have plenty. You will be able to not only survive but thrive, like have enough money to live off, as well as be able to like have more left over to give to things that you give to people less privileged than you maybe. Wow, really beautiful energy. I'm just tuning in to see if that's all the messages. Maybe there's one more card. Okay, let's get one more. Can we get one more card for pile 4? Sorry, 3. Can we get one more card for pile 3? Whoa! Came flying out. Oh, wow. 10 of Pentacles. That's an incredible card to end on. Yeah. This you stepping into the spotlight and you putting your own true creative self out there in some way, your own creative ideas that come from your true self, and speaking up for the things that you're passionate about, following that fire in your belly. Once you've kind of carved out a bit of space to reignite that fire, because I think with the 4 of Cups you've been a bit I don't know if I want to go that route anymore, but you've got to kind of find that creative spark again. And once you do and you follow it, you're going to be completely successful in it. With 10 of Pentacles, that's like the end, is the ultimate culmination of total security, total stability, total, it can be financial success, or it can be, receiving a lot of financial reward for this work in some way, or just at least a lot of like inner stability and security within yourself, and then how that then is going to reflect on the outside, because it's like as within so without, right? So like you'll be feeling so much more confident and stable and comfortable in your own skin. We spoke about that, and so settled in yourself and stable in yourself, that will then like reflect on your outside, and you will have all the abundance and all the security and stability that you need externally as well. And that'll look different for all of you. For some of you that might be a house, for some of you that might be the ability to like provide for your family or give to people that are less able. For some of you that could be having like a private jet and flying around the world, which maybe if you end up at the level of someone like Ellen DeGeneres or something, you'll be able to do. So whatever is your dream for like whatever your ultimate stability and security looks like, or wealth, or whatever, then you are going to reach that with this. This is your like greatest potential, you have the potential within you to reach that point, that complete pinnacle, that top of the mountain, that like all the abundance that you could possibly want in whatever form. In the traditional Rider-Waite Ten of Pentacles, it's often shown with, or in many Rider-Waite style decks, it's often shown with a like grandparents and then like their kids and like little grandkids running around in a huge big house in the background. So, but that's quite a traditional picture of Ten of Pentacles. I like that in this case it's just lots of crystals, which is really cool, because this could be like, for those of you that resonate with the witchy thing I spoke about, this could just be like, I'm just going to be in this great witchy cottage with like all the crystals I could ever want and a cat, and you know, and that's your Ten of Pentacles, and that's totally cool, and that's what you're gonna, you know, you're gonna get, you're going to manifest for yourself. But I think that there's maybe some of you have been feeling a bit dissatisfied, or you've gotten a bit stuck, or there's been a period of with that, like endings are inevitable, like letting go of something, walking away from something, maybe something or someone, or a way of being, or a project, or yeah, something like that. I'm also getting with the number 37, this could be a significant age for some of you. Some of you could be 37. Or 36. It's interesting. 36, 37, there's a progression there. So yeah, you could be in your mid-30s or something. Or this could be, if you're much younger, it could be that this really stepping into who you truly are will happen in your mid-30s. It will take a period of time of maturing, of letting go of your old self, and having the comfort to just, like, you know, like we spoke about at the beginning with Ellen's story, how she you know, she came out and you know, announced she was gay on Oprah Winfrey show, you know, and it doesn't have to be that specifically, or it doesn't have to be that dramatic. It's just kind of saying that there might be a period of like you trying to be a certain identity, or trying to hide who you truly are from the world for a period of time. Maybe through your 20s you've had to do that, and then you get to a certain point in your 30s and you're like, you know what, I'm taking off the mask. That's the old me. I can't be that person anymore. I've got to be myself. And it's like, yeah, you got bored of playing that old role because it wasn't really you. So that's that Four of Cups energy, that kind of dissatisfied energy. And it's like, you've got to kind of come out and like find that inner spark again to be who you really are. And that will bring you the ultimate security, the ultimate, just everything that you want. It will bring it to you. That's your greatest potential. You have the potential to manifest that for yourself. So wow. Whew, really powerful reading, pile number 3. That was quite an interesting reading. It kind of went in a direction I wasn't necessarily expecting, but I hope that it resonated for some of you. I hope that you were able to take something from that. I hope it was a little bit empowering or inspiring for you. Thank you so much for sticking all the way through it. Thank you for letting me read for you today. Don't forget to leave a comment below if it resonated. I would really love to hear from you. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and the notification bell so you'll be notified when I next upload a reading. All the best with your journey, and take care, and I will see you in the next reading. All my love. Bye.